This is Fritz Frivolous with continuous live coverage of the corner of Curious Lane and Just Because Boulevard, the epicenter of the alien invasion. And this just in, King Kong is fighting the Mobile Suit Gundam. And of course, all of this is happening amidst World War IV, making it pure pandemonium. If only Captain Planet were still alive to save us all. Dude, could you imagine? The famous American writer Mark Twain was once quoted saying, "Buy land, they're not making any more." Land may be one of the largest yet finite resources on the planet, and some land is inhospitable and cannot be cultivated for humans to live upon. But what if a mysterious continent suddenly arose in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? Who would it belong to? Would you live there? How would this affect the world? Let us listen in with two of the world's foremost geological experts, Will and Tom, as they try to land an answer. Welcome back, everybody. This is Tom Case.
And this is Will Stark.
Will, we have a lot to do this episode.
I know, I've heard. You told me it's another fun-filled episode.
Yes, it is. And first and foremost, I would like to introduce our new DCY intern, our new patron, Mariko Fujimoto.
Thank you, Mariko! I'm familiar with Mariko. She is a wonderful Discord mod for the Dungeon Cast.
Oh, that's right.
Also a patron over there and a good friend at this point. So thank you, Mariko, for supporting us.
That's awesome. And yes, we do thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate that. We also are going to have the championship Christmas fight night tonight.
Oh, yeah. This is the finale.
Round. Yeah, the finale.
Oh, wow.
After that, we're also going to do a traffic report. We actually got quite a bit of traffic on this last episode.
Okay. We had a lot of traffic to report.
Ago. Yeah, to report. Exactly. And let's get down to the first question, shall we? For both of these questions, by the way, they're your questions.
Oh, my God.
I figured it's been a little while now.
I don't even remember. At this point, we've gone through all the questions. I remember submitting a while ago.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, they were
I do not remember.
Wow, I think more than a few months ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. I want to
say like,
and I told you I'll wait long enough for me to forget about it. So, okay, go for it. Shoot.
All right. Question number 1. What if a new continent suddenly appeared in the middle of the Pacific?
Okay, all right. I forgot. I don't even remember why I asked this question. I don't remember what inspired this.
Yeah, I don't think you ever told me what inspired the questions you came up with, but I did like them and they were interesting.
Well, thank you. Parameters, please.
So Jesus. The parameters on this is you feel a shifting in the earth, right?
Okay, yeah.
A massive earthquake. I don't want to say, even though, to be honest, I would imagine there may be some type of tsunami type.
It depends on how this happens. If it's instantly, then yes, many will die.
But I would have to say it would probably be instantly enough.
My first question, where does this continent appear? See, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic Ocean. Where is it?
No, I'm going to say because Pacific. You specifically said Pacific when you told me this when I wrote it down.
Okay,
yeah. So I want to keep it there.
Okay, I didn't realize that
because it made me think of some interesting questions that you may know the answer to or you may not. But I definitely don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's go to some Fritz facts.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Fritz facts.
And these Fritz facts, they're just going to be, they're going to be like little small facts about the continents, since we are just, describing a new continent.
A new eighth one, yeah.
So everyone, I hope, would know that there are 7 continents on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And now this little tidbit here, I do like mnemonic devices, like when you try to come up with like a rhyme or
I know what you mean.
Yeah, one example I have is the directions, right? North, east, south, and west. I was always taught, if you want to always remember that, especially when you're young and you're learning that, is remember the rhyme, never eat shredded wheat, right?
Yeah.
North, east, south, west.
I think when I was a kid, it was never eat shredded Wheaties, which makes less sense.
Really? Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
There's no such thing as shredded Wheaties. That's not a thing.
Somebody just wanted to put in Wheaties in there. Damn Wheaties, always trying to get their ad in there. But, okay, I don't think this mnemonic device would help me if I was trying to remember the names of the 7 continents.
Okay, let's hear it.
Aaron ate 9 sticky apricots at April's.
Hell.
Who came up with that?
Aaron ate 9 sticky what?
Aaron ate 9 sticky apricots at April's.
That's useless. That's
and it's supposed
next to useless.
I know. And it's supposed to make you remember Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Australia, Antarctica, Africa.
Wait, it's Aaron with an E?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I know that. Aaron. No, it's ERIN.
Okay.
Aaron,
Where
yeah.
is Aaron right now?
Like
Exactly. Why isn't it Ernie? It should be Ernie or Edward.
Right? Something that you know exact is definitely an E. Yeah, I don't think that's a good one at all. I do want to mention this real quick because we actually had a whole episode revolving around Pangea.
We did.
But, they say that the theory is all the continents used to be one supercontinent.
And that they will be once again at some point.
Yeah, that's true. And will be once again. We just don't know when. So certain facts about certain continents. Asia's the largest, meaning that they also have the largest population.
To be fair, Asia's it's really Eurasia. If you really think about it.
if you kind of...
There's an argument there's only 7 continents, just saying.
Yeah, isn't there even a part where they kind of call it that? They just...
Yeah,
they
people
Eurasia.
talk about Eurasia as like a landmass all the time.
Africa is the 2nd largest continent. And it also is home to the longest river in the world, which is
the Nile.
The largest desert in the world, which is Sahara. Yeah. Can't fool you, Will. Australia is considered the largest island, but the smallest continent.
Right.
Antarctica, you could probably guess what Antarctica is known for.
Ice.
And what would you think Antarctica is the most of in the world, or the
most south,
the coldest,
the coldest? Okay, yeah, duh.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I was overthinking it.
Yeah, and
like the most south.
The most, yeah. Well,
it is.
You're not
goddamn
wrong.
Right, it is.
I mean, you're not wrong. In Europe, the one thing that I thought was interesting is, I never really thought about it, but there are no deserts in Europe.
Right.
I didn't think about that. I never thought about like a place not having a desert.
Right.
I guess because like where we grow up, we kind of have like a little bit of
everything.
Live in
the desert, Tom. We live in the desert.
But we also have like our mountains. We also have like the beach.
Yeah.
We also have,
Yeah.
But it's just, I would always expect that going anywhere because of how I grew up. I
Right.
was always
It's
I guess
the norm here, but it's not the norm in other places.
Yeah, that's true. And North America is actually the only continent that has every kind of climate.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, I didn't know about some of these when I was looking them up. I was like, oh, I didn't
really?
know that.
What does South America lack that North America has? Because I imagine they have forests, they have mountains, they have ocean, they have deserts. They have deserts, right? Shit, do they have deserts? Maybe that's it. Maybe they don't have desert there. In South America, I'm struggling to think of a desert.
Yeah. I'm struggling. Yeah, I don't see anything that mentions any
It's very
deserts.
green and very wet. So okay.
I know, you know what, the climate thing you mentioned though, I find that interesting too. And then you said because they actually have the 2nd highest mountain system in the world.
Right.
Next to the Himalayas. But they also have it's not the longest, but it's the largest river, which is the Amazon. Yeah. But that's what we have for Fritz Facts.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's get back to parameters. Okay. Where in the Pacific is it?
So,
like, is Hawaii gone now?
No, I would like to, okay, because this is one of the things. Okay, let's just say it is somewhere. Yeah, I can't really think of where, but Hawaii's not gone. I don't want to get rid of, you know what I mean?
Well, Hawaii got hit with that tsunami for sure.
But yeah,
And so did Japan.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So I don't know the exact location, to be completely honest with you, about where this new continent would go, but it has to be somewhere.
Is it closer to North America or is it closer to Asia?
I'm going to say...
is it North Hemisphere or Southern?
I'm going to say in the middle of both. Because this is...
So it's equatorial?
Yes.
Equatorial, all right. And is it closer to Central America? Or is it closer to like Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines?
I want to say Central, like Central America, yeah.
Okay, so it's closer to the Americas by how many miles off the shore?
See, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Because I would want to know, because obviously, what type of is there anything that governs the fact of who would get to own this land?
Well, that's why I'm asking where the fuck it is.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
It's going to be whoever the fuck gets there first.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Is that how that works?
Like, I mean, it's how that works when you're pointing a gun at someone else. Well, that's how it works, true. Tom.
Well, yeah.
There's no laws here. This is new land, Tom.
But you also failed to mention, like, who has the bigger gun or who has more guns than the other.
Yes.
That is true. But that's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There will be negotiation and politics around it. I'm not saying it's just, might makes right. But, like, the biggest factor will be the biggest gun to get there first and the proximity of said gun's origins.
Yeah, because I have heard that, obviously in certain areas, the United States, I don't know how you want to call it, the land that the government owns or governs over, goes into the ocean for, I don't know what the exact distance is.
Right. But
like they do own, like if an island did pop up close enough,
they
could claim it. Yeah, yes, we would absolutely be like, well, that's ours because it's in our waters.
Right. I don't know how many miles offshore it is. Yeah. Too, but this is obviously not going to be.
That's what I wanted, because I wanted to bring up the fact, like, okay, I guess it would have to be like who gets there first.
Here's an interesting question. What if a continent showed up and 95% of the continent was outside the international waterline, right? But then a peninsula off this continent reached just far enough where it reached into some country. It doesn't have to be United States. Yeah. Any country. Like, how much stake could that country be like, well, this whole thing's ours now?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. If the United States got there first, I don't care I feel like if we got there first, right? The U.S. gets there, whether we're just the part that gets into that little peninsula or somehow go ahead and take over the 95% that was in international waters, I feel like they wouldn't give up any of it. I feel like they would be like, no, this is ours.
It depends. So that depends on where this thing shows up. So let's say this thing shows up off the shore of China, right? And that peninsula reaches into Chinese waters, and 5% of this island is definitely within the already South Chinese border. The island's China's. No one's taking it.
Oh,
like it's there. I mean, obviously, granted, like depends on how big this thing is. Because if it's like, I don't know, super massive, to an inordinate extent, like, well, then it might get divvied up based off the different powers that plant their flag. Yeah. But like, I'm thinking if it's like, I don't know, half of Australia size, that's all going to China. Like, there's no one's gonna, it's basically in their borders, and they have enough. Like both political and military power that why would you bother disputing it? You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to lead to war. So
that would be the interesting part. I always wondered if in this day and age, if it really would still lead to war.
Oh yes, it would. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yes.
I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, I don't disagree with you, because just even with the current climate of things between like us and China and stuff like that. Yeah, I could see that happening, but it's just weird to think about already what we have, and then this new land shows up and we're like, well, we're going to war over that.
Well, no. That's what I'm saying is like, that's why it would probably just end up China. It's obviously just depending on the size, because disputing it would be war. That's what I'm trying to say. There probably wouldn't be war, because we probably wouldn't dispute it, because it's practically in their backyard anyways.
Yeah.
It would be kind of weird to dispute it.
It wouldn't be worth going over that.
No. I mean, and honestly, it would almost be better, like, just from a political stance of like the U.S. government, to stay hands off, because it's going to be a huge upheaval in the dynamics of the region. There's more countries than just China in that area. Yeah. Everyone's going to have certain feelings about this thing showing up.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just going to cause whatever chaos over there. It's almost better to just stay hands off. But anyways, I wanted to know where this island was, and then my next question was, how big is it? So I need those from you, Tom.
Okay. Well, the size, I do like the size that you had kind of mentioned. Either Australia size, like
about Australia?
About Australia.
So it's Australia 2.
Yeah, let's just say Australia. Australia 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah.
I had to pull up a world map here. Where is it? Where's it at?
Okay. Let's say it's going to be located, well, if it's going to be in that area where I kind of said, where it's like in the equatorial area, what is that? It's more south of Hawaii? Right?
Hawaii is equatorial, so hold on here. It's equatorial, but like and it's more towards Central America. You said how many miles off the shore of Central America?
Wow, you're asking details I was not prepared for.
I mean, to give you a reference, I believe we are 3,000 miles from Hawaii in California, the shore. I think it's about 3,000 miles.
Okay, so let's say it's 3,000 miles.
Hold on, I'm going to give you some more information here. So distance from California to Japan, because that'll be like the entire diameter, if you will. So
if people could see me right now, they would see all these like
Okay.
formulas and things coming out of my head because I have no.
It's 5,355 miles from LA to Tokyo.
Okay,
So the halfway point would be
like 20,
20. We'll say 2,600 miles ish. Okay. But you're saying it's closer to the Americas.
the Americas.
right?
So let's say
2,000 miles. That's what. Okay, that's what I was. Now I.
Wow,
now I gotta
we were on the same page on that.
Yeah, we were. Okay, from California to Hawaii. We just took out Hawaii.
Okay.
Hawaii has been destroyed.
That was going to be my next part. Is what I wanted to go to. Like, let's start on what we were talking about with damage. Just like
Hawaii is gone.
yeah, that
it has
sucks,
been
man.
absolutely
That
wrecked.
sucks so bad. But you're right. Like, if something that big came out of the ocean that fast, I mean, there's no way that it wouldn't cause waves. You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah, there's
devastating, deadly.
But I think we actually destroyed it by like land has come up. Hawaii. Well, maybe Hawaii's not so much destroyed as Hawaii is now a mountain.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now all of a sudden they're not in the water anymore.
Exactly. I need the diameter of Australia because you said it's Australia size. So hold on.
Man, if you imagine it that way, imagine going to this new continent and then getting a tour and be like, here's the mountains of Hawaii, or like the Hawaii mountains instead. You know what I mean? That would be.
And here's another interesting thing. Hawaii already has mountains. I don't know how tall they are because I don't know that much about Hawaii. But I wonder where that would land those mountains after the entire island's been raised. Like, is there a new tallest mountain in the world? Maybe.
Or what would happen to the volcanoes that are right there? Like, would that somehow make them erupt or maybe go dormant now or dead, or you know what I mean? Or
Hawaii, by the way, Australia is 2,400 miles wide. So this changes so much. This changes so much. Okay, so
Maps are getting changed.
my headcanon on this is actually not that this destroyed Hawaii, as Hawaii, you know how the islands of Hawaii are formed from the volcanoes? I'd say this is the end result of the Hawaiian volcanoes. A continent has risen below Hawaii.
Like those. That's probably what caused.
That's what
this.
caused it.
Oh yeah, that does make sense.
I mean, everyone's probably still dead, but
Yeah.
like I don't actually know that.
But you're saying
So-
it may not be the Hawaii mountains anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing that's going to happen is, I think, huge struggles with people dealing with the aftermath. I mean, Central America, South America, North America, Japan, Korea, parts of China, parts of India, and huge parts of Australia are all going to be devastated by catastrophe.
Yeah, they're gonna have one of those worldwide disasters.
Yeah, this is a disaster on the scale of something we've never seen so far in this life. Like, there's going to be a massive loss of life and damage. So I think the governments are going to be really preoccupied with that. I think all those governments are probably going to send some sort of probes and drones and flyovers and stuff. But I think an inordinate amount of their resources are going to be to recovery, right?
Yeah, you would hope so. I was just about to bring up the fact that this would really show you. Let's say if now the race for conquering this land, or whatever you want to call it, is going on. It's going to show you, who's more concerned about what,
right?
Because you may have one of those governments who are like, oh, we're going after this new continent, and then we're going to do this recovery.
Yeah.
Or you may have people who, they're going to be like, we're going to send not only recovery for our own people, but we're going to try to help everyone else who is affected.
Right.
You know what I mean? In which case, they're going to be stretched thin because, and they're probably not going to even get a chance to get a crack at this new continent, which we didn't even name yet. I don't even know.
Yeah, we haven't named it.
That.
Willandia.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
No matter how much I loved, what'd you say? Australia 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh my God. You know what? This will be another maybe.
Let's let the audience name our content.
Yeah, another audience naming thing here.
Okay, so what I think happens here is something similar to what has happened in Antarctica, with immediately sending scientific teams to set up like established laboratories.
Oh yeah.
But because it is way closer, number one, and theoretically, unless we've decided something differently, way less hostile than the Antarctic. everybody who can is going to set up a military base as soon as possible. And I think because of that, unless someone takes an act, like unless a country, and I think the country in this case, the most likely to try and pull the power play would be the U.S. just because of the proximity.
Yeah.
And we took out Hawaii, right? Well, guess who owned Hawaii? There's almost a claim here because we just said it rose underneath. Like, this is all the new Hawaiian continent.
I didn't think about that, and that would be very close. Because, like, if we
own
own that,
I've just changed my own mind. At first, I was thinking, like, oh, everyone's going to set up a military base, and this is probably going to slowly become, like, a weird neutral, like, divide-up zone.
Yeah.
But now that I've thought about the fact that it was Hawaii, and there's Hawaiian citizens there, U.S.
is just
that is so much of a leg up on like a quote unquote moral claim that the U.S. is going to just pounce directly on it. And because Japan is ally and South Korea is ally and lots of Central America is allied to us and Canada is allied to us, like a lot, and Australia, like enough of our allies kind of surround this area of the world where no one who would oppose it probably will.
Yeah, I feel like I also
Holy
think if that's the way that happened,
oh wow,
naming that would be a little bit easier now because you'll probably have the Hawaii majors and the Hawaii minor. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to call it that, because
you could, except for the islands themselves are gone; they're mountains now. So the question becomes like, do the mountains remain named the Hawaiian Mountains?
I think they would.
I think so.
Because the people there, you'd want to honor them.
Especially because they just got wiped the fuck out.
You know what I mean? I don't see anyone wanting to get rid of that name. That would be like trying to forget.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I don't think they would do that.
And then it comes to what does the island itself get named, and it becomes a U.S. territory more than likely. Holy shit!
Yeah, that would be amazing. Like, I say amazing, not trying to say about the loss of life, but it would just be fantastic.
I mean, it would be like beyond amazing.
Yeah, like a fantastical thing.
Yeah, it would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like absolutely unbelievable that this is like happening or has happened. The next thing I want to talk about is like the land that's going to be, this is volcanic land, right? So a lot of it's rock, but volcanic land does tend to be really fertile.
I was just about to say, you're going to like the wildlife and stuff? Or
well, there isn't going to be any at first. There's
which
nothing.
Would still affect what was around there.
Yeah, right? And it makes me wonder, like, how does wildlife develop? You know what I mean? Plants are going to show up because there's going to be seeds on the wind that end up there, right? There's going to be birds that land there, and they're going to take shits, and those shits are going to turn into trees and stuff. How does that develop? How does our interaction with this land develop? And then in the end, one of the number one things the U.S. is going to want to do besides having military bases is they're going to want people there. Because one of the best strangleholds a government could get on a land is by occupying it with actual citizens. And so
that's true.
I could very well see the U.S. government in this case, or whatever country, but I think we've established because of the location, it would probably be the U.S., would probably give what are those called, incentives to people to move there. It's like, hey, if you move to this island, you can buy this plot of land for super cheap, and we will make sure that there are resources for you to have like electrical and this and that, and we'll be working on developing the area.
What I think will happen?
People to move there now.
And you know what I think would be the first people to move there, though?
Who?
I don't even think it would be regular citizens. They're going to build what they call the military family.
Of course. But I'm talking about like actual citizens. Yeah, you're right. Those will be the first people. But there will be a thing where it's like we need X amount of people like to start filling up the land here, so that like it gives us a stronger claim when it comes to defending it against others.
And that is an interesting thing that I also wanted to talk about was like housing development, land development. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how long something like that would take. And I'm not just talking about like what I said with the military, like what you're talking about. Like regular citizens. Everyone living there, shopping centers, you know what I mean? Like,
you mean like full development?
Full development.
I mean, in all honesty, I think for like modern development of like, I don't know, what you're talking about in a limited fashion in like small like cities, be pretty quickly, probably within like 30 to 40 years, I think it would be done.
Yeah.
But as for like a fully expanded where the island itself is fully developed and like way occupied, and it's reached like where we are here in the States, at least 100+ years.
Wow.
That's what I think, but what do I know?
Yeah.
Here's a question. Would you move there? Would you move there?
Yeah, you know what? Oh man. Okay, so describing the way that you described how the land would be, I think the only way I would really live there would have to be if it was like the beachfront property. You know what I mean? Like
you have a chance. I'll say this: you'll have a chance, but you won't have that much of a chance.
I know, and because those things are going to be
go. Yeah. That's interesting,
and they're going to be smart about it. They already know. You know, the people who are, you know, the companies that are going to go there. That's the thing about it is who's going there to develop this land to sell it to the people who want to buy the homes.
Right.
That's going to be the big problem is because they're going to send the people that they think are going to do the best job, and those people are going to make the most money, and they already know beachfront property is going to be that money, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Now, moving anywhere for me, moving anywhere, the first things first is the job. If let's say if we could do what we're doing now, and that's all we had to do, yeah, I think I would try. I would like that.
I'll give you my answer. Yes, I'm moving there as soon as possible. You're telling me I can get like 5, 6, 10 acres for dirt cheap?
Yeah.
And, you know, theoretically in a nice like mountain-esque location that previously was Hawaii.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
I would very much like to develop my own land and grow the plants anyways. So that's fine. And guess what? I can podcast. I think with this dirt cheap land acquisition, we could probably make it work.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Guess what else I'm doing? I'm starting a new podcast to
and
be
it's
called
all about
Life in Hawaii 2 or whatever. Yeah. Like I'm probably a video series and everything. And everyone's gonna eat it because everyone's gonna want to know.
That's right.
Like I'm going there in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Dirt cheap land?
That's true. I didn't think about owning parts of the land. I was just thinking about like
not only am I moving, I'm bringing all my family, everyone,
and at a later time, if you needed to, I don't know if you would want to, but even if you needed to, you could probably sell off some of the land for like an extra income if you didn't use all of it.
Sure, yeah. You know, well, that would have to be long term because you got to remember, like they're selling the government's partitioning the land out for dirt cheap. So right now the land doesn't have a lot of value yet.
Well, you know, that would be long in the future
for maybe my kids or my kids' kids or you know who's to say.
Or maybe not even sell it, just develop the parts of the land that you didn't really use for your own, for like the planting and all that kind of stuff, to make another house for your children. So then when they grow up, they don't even have to look for another house. They could just...
Well, yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm curious, like, how does this affect the economy?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, you know, that's the other part of it though. Like, but let's say we couldn't do it off this podcast.
I think it creates a worldwide boom.
You think so?
I think so. I think it creates a worldwide boom because there's going to be so many resources and so many jobs and so many of this going towards getting this place developed that I think most places, even not U.S., you know, companies are going to. There's just going to be a call for resources for this and that.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll get pulled into the island. You know, they're going to need workers. They're going to need builders. They're going to need developers. They're going to need planners.
You know what I could see because of that though too, and because of where it is, it could end up being another tourist industry though, because of the fact that that's what Hawaii is kind of now.
That's what Hawaii is. But Hawaii is a small, remote,
now that
island.
It's larger, that's what I'm saying. Maybe
this being larger, it's going like look at all this land that can be farmed, that can be mined, that can be this, that can be that. Like it's going to be more than that for sure. But yeah, there will be tourism. The U.S. being that much closer to Asia, I don't know how that changes things on a geopolitical scale. I don't know enough about that kind of stuff, but it would have to be incredibly impactful.
I kind of feel like too the mix of people that would go there. I think, you know, because I was thinking about like the Hawaiian cultures, like the native Hawaiians that live there now. You know, unfortunately because of this new continent rising up, you know, with a lot of deaths and the damage it caused.
What about all the Hawaiians who were off island when it happened? Like, how much of a claim do they have? Like, probably plenty. Probably a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they would go back and it may never go back to the way it was, but they would try so hard to reestablish that culture.
I think
there.
I could see an entire like American-wide movement of like huge donations to try and preserve as much Hawaiian culture as possible.
Yeah,
like without a doubt.
And I would definitely be a part of that.
I think most of us
their
would.
culture. Yeah, I love the native Hawaiian culture, and it's just something I always like. I've been there once, and it's just everything you see about it. You're just like, man, that's so awesome. Like, at least I thought it was.
Oh
and
yeah, no, absolutely.
It would be a shame for it to be lost. So I would really want that to come back.
And then you got to think we are 2,000 plus miles closer to Japan, Korea, Indonesia, all the Southeast Asian areas. Like, how much of their culture actually starts getting even more like we already live in a global society where like cultures are intermingling and imprinting on each other left and right. But proximity still does play a factor. And being closer to those places, how much more of an influence do those cultures begin to have on the Western American culture? You know what I mean?
Shorter transportation time with flights and with boats. And, you're going to have more of them visiting.
And probably easier trade. There. Probably companies and individuals who never could trade directly with us would be able to now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you know what? That would be heavily influenced by all those other cultures there. Yeah. But dude, could you imagine? This just in, a new study suggests leaving an Apple Podcast review is very important for a newly created podcast. So please don't forget to leave an Apple Podcast review. In financial news, Patreon supporters are among the most appreciated in the podcast industry. You can support the DCYI team by heading over to patreon.com/dude could you imagine. This has been Fritz Frivolous, reminding you to like, comment, and subscribe. Will and Tom, back to you. Mother, please, turn off that infernal racket. It drives me insane. I have seemed to have soiled myself. You must clean me at once. Afterwards, it will be time for another feeding. You had better lay off the vodka. I swear your breast milk should be served in a shot glass. Oh, I can't wait to grow up. And we're back.
Indeed.
All right, Will, are you ready for your second question?
I hope so.
All right. This one I thought was really interesting when you first told me. So I was actually like wanting to use it, I kept wanting to use it. And I was like, no, I'm going to wait. You kept waiting. So now it's finally time.
Let's hear it.
What if you were forced to start life over with the knowledge you have now? What would you do differently?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I do vaguely remember coming up with this question.
I was going to say, I was looking at your face right now, and I was like, he doesn't remember telling me this question.
Vaguely. It's not that I don't remember coming up with the question. I don't remember what I was thinking about when I came up with the question.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I did tell you to make me forget, but I was hoping I would at least remember some of the themes here.
No, it's been a while.
So what are the parameters?
So parameters is whenever there's a crazy question like this, there's no way, right? So let's say a magical being appears, right?
Yeah, okay.
And he says, I am going to make you reborn, like literally.
Yeah.
But, and here's the twist to this question. I know a lot of people, after I read that, they're probably thinking like, oh, when I was born back in whatever time that they were born, and I'm going to relive and go through it, I'm going to know like, buy Apple stock and this, that. No. You're not going back in time. You're just going to be born again and go through infancy all the way into adulthood, starting now.
Oh, starting now.
Yeah, starting now.
I don't think that's what I meant when I asked the question.
I know.
But okay.
I know that's not what you meant.
Okay.
So I wanted to put that twist in there because I started thinking of it, of course, if I was born back in my day in 1981, of course the things I would do differently would be obviously like I'm going to invest in Apple and I'm going to invest in whatever and this and that, and I'll become rich and famous and this podcast would rule the universe, right?
Yeah.
But no, what I actually find more interesting would be if you had to start life over now.
Interesting.
What would you do differently, knowing like?
What do you retain when this happens? What is retained? So I retain all my knowledge. Okay, and obviously like this thing that has happened, it has happened against our wills because I would never choose to do this.
This is, like I said, a magical being comes and tells you he's making it.
This is happening, bitch.
Yeah, which is why, at the beginning it says, what if you were forced to start life over?
You did say force.
Yeah. And those were your words, and I figured this because I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't think Will would do
exactly.
that.
That's probably exactly why I said that. Yeah. Thank you, past me.
I actually do have some Fritz facts.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's hear them.
But so there's no actual Fritz facts for being reborn, like
sure.
So I just found these crazy, these crazy facts of just by like living life. You know what I mean?
All right.
Sports facts.
Did you know your 4-year-old son or daughter is likely to ask you more than 400 questions a day?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That was definitely me as a kid.
Yeah, same here.
I'm actually really looking forward to that with my son because I'm not going to get into that, but anyways.
No, same here. I do remember the same thing. I actually remember asking my dad like a lot of questions all the time. And I was really glad that he never would just be like, I don't know. Or,
Right.
He would try to answer them as honest as possible, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You shed your skin many, many times without realizing it to the fact where I think it's you're
Every 7
likely to
years.
do this. Yeah, but it's like 900 times during your lifetime.
Well,
like an average lifespan.
Oh, you shed your entire skin 900 times?
Yeah.
You.
Which is weird. And I'm glad it doesn't all happen in once. Like, like a snake. Like
Or
you
a
just-
crab.
Yeah.
We just like
Oh.
slither out of our own skin.
Could you imagine walking around like, oh, someone must have shed it, and like seeing a full body skin? of,
Sorry,
like,
God, I have a condition. Like,
oh my god, dude.
that's gross.
That is, faking happiness is bad for you.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
All right.
I'm sure this has probably happened to a lot of people. You meet someone and you want to be nice, and they say stuff. And maybe you don't like the person particularly, but you don't want to be rude, and then you're just kind of always like, oh, haha, yeah, haha,
Tom, you know me pretty well at this point.
Yeah,
what do I
actually,
do when I don't like a person?
Let me take that back. Will, you don't know this, but the rest of us, sometimes we don't. Yeah, you would literally just be like, hello, I'm not talking to you anymore. Bye.
I would.
Like,
Okay,
no, you wouldn't. Say that.
I would literally just not be around
Yeah,
the person,
yeah.
though. I would walk away.
That is true. I've seen you do that.
Yes, I do it all the time.
Here's something that I actually never thought about in my whole life. Bacteria literally really weighs on you. All the bacteria that's on your skin, like it's not a lot of weight, but it actually does put weight on yourself. That's what I'm gonna. Whenever I'm overweight, I'm just it's the bacteria. I just got a lot of bacteria. I'm just gonna take a shower. It'll be good. But yeah, I just wanted to go through some really
I like that.
weird.
Those are some good facts. Okay, so there are some big questions we got because you've changed the question.
Yeah.
And so you've also added some complications. Am I physically born again? Mm-hmm. To whom?
This magical being, he's going to, he's going to pick just random parents that are like someone's pregnant. And
Okay, am I now growing up in a completely different country? Am I staying within my own?
No, we're gonna stay within
Okay.
our own. Like
Okay.
you'll be born.
Am I in
let's
the
just say
undisclosed location?
Yeah, you're gonna be born where you were born.
Oh, that's gonna make me so sad.
Right.
Where I was born. Okay. Well, that's gonna make me so sad in a way too, because by the time number one, I'll remember everything, right? So it's like my family still exists. They just think
Yeah.
I died. That sucks.
Yeah, that is.
And like
true.
I'll never. Actually, I feel like there's a movie. There is.
Man.
I'm not even messing around. There is a movie that is somewhat about this, where a woman's husband dies, and she runs into this kid, and it's actually him reborn. And they have
really?
a crazy relationship, like a tension. Obviously,
I
he's way
gotta
too
see
young
this
for her.
movie. I gotta
But
look
yeah,
this- that
like
looks-
I don't remember the name of it. I've heard of it though, and I know it exists.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
yeah.
I would
It's
wanna
just
watch
like
that.
I don't know if I want to put my family through that.
Man, I was just thinking today, like, man, this is, I'm not putting Will's family in peril, and then I just realized, oh, you know what? I didn't think about it. If
Yep.
this happened to you
Well,
right
not just
now,
that. We probably died in the last question because of where we live.
oh yeah,
Like, the tsunami definitely hit
our
us.
undisclosed
Yeah.
location has been decimated.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was our last.
You
podcast,
can't help yourself, Tom.
I
You
know.
kill me and my family like as a pastime. Anyway,
At least this last one, I went with you too. I know
that's
too,
true.
you know.
That's true.
Real
ahead.
quick, fun fact though about the part where I said you're going to be born in like the same hospital as you were born last. Right?
Okay.
Fun fact: if that happened to me, the thing about that is my dad,
Mm-hmm.
my brother, and me were all born in the same hospital by the
Okay.
same doctor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the doctor was obviously super young, just starting out when my dad was born.
Right.
And then when me and my brother were born, we, 4 years apart, same doctor, same hospital.
That's
Same-
crazy.
yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Were you born in this area?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
for sure.
born within our undisclosed location.
Gotcha. I was born a little bit outside of the undisclosed location.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to go down that route. I'm not going down the route of trying to convince my fiance that it's me again.
Yeah.
In a 5-year-old's body, or however long it takes me to find her. I think I'm gonna have to let that
you
go.
Would have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's the thing: I'd be the same age as my son because he was just born 6 months ago.
Oh, imagine being best friends with your. Wow.
I would.
Oh my God.
Oh God, that would be weird. But how could I not try and find a way to get myself in the same like school? And like become my son's friend, you know what I mean? It's just so I can look out for him.
I mean, I mean, imagine.
Like I would have to, right?
Yeah,
like,
because like you retaining all your knowledge. I mean, why would you not still not have the love for your son?
Of course,
you know what I mean that wouldn't go away.
Yeah,
but think about it like this. So if you did try to convincing your parents, you're a 5-year-old son and you want to go to this. I would honestly start thinking your parents may think something is wrong with you that you can. Or
without a doubt, like
genius,
they're gonna think I'm a genius is what it's gonna be. And honestly, because of like the school I'll be forced to go through, and being of an older mind than I would be because I lived a life before. Yeah. Like I would actually pay way better attention to my studies. Than I ever did in this life, and so I probably would excel in school very, very much, and I'd probably get a much higher education than I ended up in this life. But I wouldn't. I would try and do that, but I wouldn't do that at the expense of not trying to become my son's friend, like get into the vicinity of where he is, which I might not be able to do. And by the time I'm old enough to try and like Google search and figure out where people are, like for all I know, the family's moved somewhere out of state, and I can never find them again.
Honestly, dude, you mentioning like old enough to Google search, I would honestly think with the kids I've seen nowadays, you could probably do that within year 3 or 4. Like I've seen kids like
if I got my hands on a tablet, but that's the thing. I think there would be a part of me, or not part of me, but I think I would, little 2-year-old me is like, shit, I can't give too much away. Because otherwise they're gonna. The fact
of a 2-year-old you going, well, shit, what the fuck am I gonna do now?
Exactly.
Like cussing and
like I don't want my new parents to catch on that I'm just like straight Googling stuff, and you know what I mean. Like, there might be too many questions, So I will try and be a little bit subtle about my intelligence level.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting thing to look to think about. If you did it that way, would you want your new parents to know that you have this knowledge, or would you want to keep that to yourself? You know what I mean? Because like, I guess, because it could go very wrong.
It could go wrong. Like, I think it's a good idea to make sure the parents find out that you are exceptionally gifted for a child your age, because that's probably going to lead to a lot of good things, and it's going to allow you to like be a bit more yourself than you would have to be otherwise. Pretending to be a kid, that would suck.
Well, you know what? With me, though, I'll be honest with you, I'd feel so bad for these new parents because of my sense of humor. I would literally like stare at them sometime and be like, "Mother, would you?" You know what I mean? Be all weird and creepy, just to laugh.
You're horrible.
I know
you're horrible. I was actually thinking, like, you know what? I would feel bad for the parents because now I think about all the times I have with my son, and they couldn't have those with me because I'm too like can't Goo Goo Gaga me. So I'm going to completely rob them of having like an actual baby.
Like they're going to be like, "Oh, little Will," or no, even if they named you Will, who knows if they named you right? But they're like, "Oh, Google little Will," and I can see you just looking up, and you're like, "Please speak English to me. None of this Goo Goo Gaga shit, okay?" Like, but you know what? Wait, we kind of glazed something over. Okay, if you retained the memories and like the knowledge of speech and everything, but at such a young age, would you still be able to talk like with the motor functions?
Probably not. Like, okay, let's actually, let's rewind this. I think the way, if this somehow happened, the only way it would work, or the way it would work, is that the developmental years of like at least 1 to 4, you probably are just a baby. Yeah, the memories that you may or may not have, your brain probably isn't developed enough to even like process them.
Yeah, I was wondering.
And maybe we could say that around like 4 or 5, the memories start to happen, and like let's say that by puberty, you remember everything. Right?
It's probably like some fog that's lifted.
Yeah, I think it has to work that way. Otherwise, Well, I mean, it just that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, because
plus it makes me feel better because it means these parents are gonna have a baby.
Yeah,
and it's gonna have the right experience. Because it just breaks my heart that they wouldn't.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know. Sometimes he just looks out the window and he's contemplating life. You know, like he doesn't drink his baba. He drinks out of a teacup.
Where's my coffee, mother? Yeah. Okay, so okay, we established that. I think if I'm not pursuing, if I lose the ability to be able to find my son, and I just have to focus on, okay, well, this is my life now, and I got to do the best I got with it. I think, yeah, I'm going to let my accelerated intellect shine so that I get the best opportunities I possibly can. I will probably get back into music the way I got into music in my first life.
Oh, okay.
But I'm definitely pursuing some sort of higher education. I'm not sure where I would go with it. You know what? I think I might actually pursue writing. Like seriously, okay. like a novel, or I want becoming a novelist is what I'm trying to say. Oh, and that might not be the most lucrative career, but like. In another life, that is a thing I would have rather done.
I know that's I know that's a passion of yours.
Yeah.
So you're saying this time you would take it way more seriously and start
early. Yeah, start early, and again using my accelerated intellect, get myself in the best positions possible to get the best education, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. In this life, I spent a lot of my early years, specifically from like 13 to 21. Trying to make my music my career.
Yeah.
And I did not. And I'm very actually thankful that it didn't work out on any degree, because if it had, like, I don't know if I'd be happy now, because that's a tough business to work in and to get work in, and et cetera, et cetera. And I wouldn't pursue that again. Music would still only be a hobby. But I think I'd try and become a novelist. I think that's a dream that, like, I could technically still achieve in this life, and maybe I'll pursue it one day, but probably not. I can honestly say
you have
almost
more
definitely
opportunities when you're younger.
But if I got a chance to start over, and it's like, hey, you can get into any profession you want early, like you could start early, you retain all your information. I think novelist is up there.
Yeah, because you would have that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. For us to do certain things like that now, it would be a little harder, especially like with you who have your own family.
Okay, I remember now. I remember why I asked this question, and if the novelist thing is what sparked it. There are certain things that I did then that I wouldn't do again.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I would pay more attention to my studies. I would definitely pursue a second language as early as I possibly could.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking about.
Yeah, I would actually like. I have a lot of reasons for being the way I was then, but I probably don't have those reasons this time, because I'm sure it's a lovely couple I got born to, according to the parameters of this question. So I'm probably going to do things like, I think I'd play baseball in high school. I never did that. I never did anything in high school. I was incredibly antisocial. I was a very troubled youth because I had a very troubled life. But like, I mean, not that I'd ever go pro, but man, it'd be cool if I had years of playing baseball to look back on, especially considering how much I love the sport now. Mm-hmm.
And the connections you would make with the other players.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's other things as well that I'm not thinking of right now, but I think there's a lot of opportunities. And, it's funny is, on one hand, I would be so not interested in romantic relationships in high school, but on the other hand, like all that anxiety and stuff that I had during those years, I wouldn't have anymore.
Yeah, because now I'm older,
I don't give a fuck. Like this is all stupid, and none of you matter. Like,
yeah.
I'm a novelist, damn it.
I know. Yeah, you in middle school now, like just starting high school. I'm a novelist, damn it.
But what about you?
You know what? So you kind of, we're in the same wheelhouse here. I would, when I was going to high school before, I was always in like the, what are they called? Like the advanced placement, and all that stuff. Right. So I had all the opportunities there for the higher education and doing that. But to be honest, I didn't capitalize on it. You didn't
appreciate
it. Yeah, I didn't appreciate what it was going to do for me in the future.
That's how it is for 90% of us, man.
Exactly. And
there's a saying, the youth is wasted on the young. It's the truth.
And you're right. And most of the things that I would do differently would be like the things I would need to focus on, right? Which would be my education and all that. However, the other things that I've learned now as like an adult is the first thing I would do is at a young age, I would definitely start doing a lot of like live performing. I would try to go into like comedy, stand-up comedian, improv, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, theater and everything like that. Because I would want to start early and launch into a career in like film or something, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it wouldn't just be for that. It wouldn't just be for career purposes. The reason I would want to do that was because when I did do improv, I actually took improv classes before, and it taught me how to take chances. And what I learned about that was a lot of times those chances go right for you. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of chances that I didn't take, you know, in my my younger days.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, which is normal. I'm not saying it's not normal, but like, yeah, that's one thing I would definitely do different is take the chances, whether it be like, you know, whether it be like with my money, you know what I mean? I probably would, you know, because we're not going into the past and reliving it, you know, I wouldn't know what to invest in, but I probably would take chances in investing my money.
Right.
I would probably take chances in like, you know, investing in a business maybe or something like that, you know, or my own business or whatever, you know.
You have more knowledge to draw on and more confidence to act on it.
The confidence part is what I was really.
And I know you said the classes helped you with confidence, but I you know, in my experience too, honestly, just every year I'm probably more confident than I was the year before. And I'm not exactly sure where that stems from. It must just be experience, or just comfortableness with myself. Yeah. I'm very comfortable with myself. I like who I am. And maybe years of reaching that has made me more confident as the years pass.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just the whole thing of the whole experience. You know what I mean? That the experience of your life, you know, when you get older, the one thing I've really noticed is like, because, you know, we work with people who are younger than us, right?
Yeah.
And I see them worry about stuff that I don't care about at all. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? And if we got to retain that knowledge and then relive our lives, man, going, you know, if you said like, you know, what you said, like once you hit puberty and boom, all your regular memories and knowledge all come back, the first thing I would remember is, don't sweat this small stuff. Like, I don't even need to worry about it. Yeah, none of it's going to matter because I know now where I'm going.
I will say it would be incredibly difficult to make friends that are your age.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fine because there's plenty of adults that are probably pretty cool, especially, like, there's probably some cool teachers that you would probably be able to have decent conversations with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You may have to run the trials and pitfalls of then the adults who would want to be a friend with. You know what I mean?
I mean, you sure, but like I'm pretty sure at like that would be very easy. You'd probably be much, depending on who your parents are, you'd probably be much like closer to them.
Yeah,
just because you would be able to relate to them much more than a normal child would.
Yeah, I did wonder about that though. Like if you were trying to make friends of your current age, right? Even though your mindset is of like, well, for me, like a 40-year-old. Yeah. You know, I still wonder though, like at that time, there's still maybe something cool that comes out that you would probably at least gain a somewhat of an equal footing with someone else of their age. But the big problem would be that they're going to have all those anxieties and everything that you're not really into anymore, that they're going to be all worried about, and you're just going to be like, I don't care, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure, absolutely.
So yeah, you're right. I don't.
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
It's
you know, it's tough. Like whenever like I'm around kids between ages 12 to 18, they're babies to me. Yeah. They're just babies to me, and like. That's how it's going to be for me when I'm there. I'm surrounded by babies.
You made an interesting point earlier about, you know, when you were saying like maybe trying to find your son and being friends with your son and all that. You know, and I was just thinking to myself, I was just thinking right now, like if I would try, just like in the movie you described, if I would try to go find my wife, you know what I mean, and see what's going on, and like if she would be convinced if I were to come up to her and try to tell her that it's me, but then I would feel. I know how sad she would be, so then I would think maybe I just shouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. It would just like the chances of it going awry are so high and to cause so much like heartache and confusion and dysfunction. Like you would have to take a step back. Like if I were to go and try and find my son, I would never reveal who I was. I would always just be that friend that Liam made, who just always looked out for him and was always there for him. And like, you know, And like,
I know
it was
weird,
uncanny, and it was strange. But sometimes like destiny's just like that, and Liam made the best friend of his that he possibly ever could have, and they were friends for life.
Yeah, that's weird because and see, in that at least you have a way in,
right?
Because you know what I mean.
Yeah, you would have a way in.
If I was 10, what would I do because then my wife would be 40 at the time,
right?
A 10-year-old and a 40-year-old, you know
exactly.
I would have to be like that random one day, like I don't know, trick or treat or something, and then like
okay, I got a proposition. Let us figure out what movie this is that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. We should both watch it. And then in place of one of our questions, let's do a movie review on this bizarre movie that I can't remember the name of.
One of the questions will be a whole old news segment.
Okay,
and we'll talk about that movie.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But dude, let's do this over again. Ho, ho, ho! Christmas Fight Night.
Noel from Hell.
Welcome ringside to Christmas Fight Night, Noel from Hell. All right, Will, we're at the championship fights here.
Yeah, we got the final round. We got our top 3 contenders. Do you want me to list them off, or should you?
Go ahead.
In corner number 1, we have none other than Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas.
The King of Christmas himself. And then in the opposite corner, we have Christmas's version of Satan, which is the Krampus. Yeah. And then we got, in the other far-flung corner here, Christmas's like neutral grump, which is the Grinch.
Yeah, that's true.
That's more like it.
It's pretty one-sided here, Tom.
I do feel like there's no way Santa is not winning this fight. I mean, but so because of that, I had this interesting way to go about this.
Okay.
Let's just see if we were to try to turn the tables, what could Krampus or the Grinch even do to get close?
So, okay, I was thinking about, well, the Grinch and Krampus would have to team up on Santa, but I don't think they would, is the problem.
Yeah.
Because I think the Krampus is pure evil.
And he's going to be wanting all that glory himself. But I think so will the Grinch.
But I know that this is a death match, but like the Grinch isn't... Okay, so let's talk about the Grinch for a second here.
Okay.
Is the Grinch evil?
You know what's funny about that? I recently saw a meme that said, the Grinch never hated Christmas; he just hated people.
Right, right, exactly. So, it's true.
I don't know
if we go by the Jim Carrey movie, which is I love, so let's do that.
That's like that should be the gold standard right there, right?
I mean, I also like the old Dr. Seuss cartoon, but Jim Carrey's movie it's phenomenal. I love it. He has a lot of reasons to be very angry at Whoville because of the way they've treated him.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
because
true.
Because he's green and because he's different, right? Not that that's an excuse for some of his behavior, but it's not.
But it's still understandable.
It's not from nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Grinch, even in his Grinch state before he becomes good at the end of the movie, is truly neutral. He's a chaotic neutral in alignment, if we're using D&D terms.
Yeah.
So I find that easy. I find that interesting here because we got like a lawful good Santa Claus, maybe a chaotic evil Krampus.
Yeah, well, no, I would
lawful
think
evil?
I'd like lawful evil.
Lawful
because
evil Krampus.
He still follows rules, right? He goes after the children that is on the naughty list.
Okay, lawful evil Krampus, and then chaotic neutral Grinch here in the center.
That's true.
Who he's probably trying to sit out. When he sees the Krampus, he's like, fuck that. And he's going to see Santa Claus. He's like, okay, well, I lose. I think the Grinch gives up.
I was thinking either the Grinch gives up so this is how, okay, you're right. I think the Grinch gives up, and the reason he gives up is that's when his heart grows three sizes larger or whatever.
Yeah.
And he figures that, you know what? I don't want to kill anyone. I don't want to kill Santa Claus. I don't even want to kill Krampus.
I don't even think that's what happens.
Really?
I think he looks at the Krampus, he's like, hell no. And he walks the other way. He's like, I'll take out the other guy. Yeah. And then he sees Santa Claus. He's like, okay, so why am I even here?
Yeah.
Literally, why am I here? You know what he's going to do? He's going to find a recliner, sit back, get some popcorn, and watch the other two duke it out.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to do.
Up on his little mountain with his dog, right?
Exactly. And so and then here comes Krampus with his chains.
So
and
Krampus,
the army of snowmen that he can't raise because we decided he can't do that. So essentially, in our last round, we took away all Krampus's like supernatural powers.
Most of them, yeah.
Like, what does he have? He has chains. He comes from hell. He comes from hell.
Yeah.
Does he come from hell?
Supernatural. So Okay, I assume that he does, or at least not. Maybe not hell. If the way everyone
by the
thinks
end of this year, I'm going to understand what the hell Krampus is.
We're gonna have to watch that movie too. and then I was thinking he's supposed to be. He drags children to the underworld.
Okay, so he's from the underworld.
That's how I interpreted it.
The Krampus can't die. We don't know that.
You know what?
We don't know. We're just
that.
making things up.
But here's, that's pretty much our whole podcast, Will. We just make shit up. I mean,
that's true.
I kind of feel like, okay, I know we were supposed to try to see,
is it just me, or I feel like the Krampus and Santa definitely, not only know each other, they've known each other a long time at this point. And maybe they don't like each other, but there is a certain professional rapport that they probably have.
That's actually the point I was going to get to.
Okay, sorry,
was that in all said and done, okay, Santa wins, and the most I think obvious reason though would be is the time power he has.
Right.
The time manipulation.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no way, because none of the other two, I don't believe, have that, right? But,
hold on, I got to read this sentence. Krampus is a half goat, half demon, horrific beast who literally beats people into being nice and not naughty.
Okay, see?
Continue.
So that's actually going to go well with the point I'm about to make. I actually feel like Krampus works for Santa.
That's fucked,
you know what I mean?
Because you know what happens then. Grinch does his thing. He's like, oh, this is going to be good. He's rubbing his hands together. He puts them upward. And they both turn on the Grinch. And the Santa goes, you should have been nicer. And then Krampus
sends the Grinch to the underworld.
And as Krampus is dragging the Grinch to the underworld, Santa's just like, ho, 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 ho.
Yeah.
Santa wins.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Poor
Krampus
Grinch.
couldn't go against Santa.
Okay.
Because he's working for Santa. But let's
that makes
say
so Santa cheated. Because basically he's got two agents.
Stacked the deck.
Yeah, he stacked the deck.
You're right,
which means he's not nice. He's naughty. He's no longer Santa. He loses all Santa powers.
Oh wait, is that some? I think somebody actually wrote in something about is there the Santa Claus? You remember the clause in a contract?
Oh, right,
is there something like that happens? I was like, so if he's naughty, he loses Santa powers.
Krampus no longer works for him. Grinch and Krampus fight to the death. What happens?
If Grinch and Krampus fight to the death?
If they have to fight to the death.
Krampus wins.
Yeah.
Krampus wins.
You don't think there's a shot?
Well, wait a minute.
I mean, I saw the Grinch lift a sled the size of a fucking house.
So you're saying what was it, Captain America? No, that would be stronger than Captain America then. That would be what, Thor level, Hulk level maybe?
No, not Hulk.
No.
Let's hold the brakes there.
I know, I really a little too much.
I would say Spider-Man level. Spider-Man level.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good
so
Spider-Man level.
His heart grows 3 sizes because he's so pissed. And I think he fights back.
Okay.
If he's got Spider-Man strength, I think he whips the shit out of Krampus.
Yeah,
Santa's running. Not Santa is now running for his life.
Yeah.
Or he dies on the spot, maybe. Because if he loses his Santa powers,
just disappear, right?
Well, the way if we're
like
going,
a Jedi?
if we're going Santa Claus, like the Claus part from the Santa Claus movie. If he doesn't have the powers, he's thousands of years old. He probably dies, right? He dies on the spot. His magic's no longer keeping him alive.
But the I think what the clause does also it falls onto somebody else.
That's okay. Well,
because I think the title of Santa Claus.
That can happen later. Because hold on, I think Santa Claus dies on the spot of old age because he was a bad boy. The Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes because he realizes he's not naughty. He in fact is nice. He beats the shit out of Krampus because he's got the strength of Spider-Man, and he becomes Santa Claus.
Oh, so technically Santa Claus still wins.
No. The Grinch wins and then
becomes Santa Claus.
Takes Santa's hat off his dead fucking corpse and becomes Santa Claus.
To the dust that's laying in the snow.
Exactly.
Right?
Grinch wins.
Okay, so Grinch wins. You know what would be really interesting? I really want to hear from everyone. Who do you guys feel like what was the best way to end this fight night? Was it Santa winning because of his time manipulation powers and that Krampus works for him and they kind of teamed up on the Grinch? Let's make that one the feel good ending because
I don't think that's the feel good ending, Tom. I think that's the bad ending.
Why is that the bad ending?
Because Santa Claus cheated.
okay.
And then he gets away with it.
Yeah.
No, that's the bad ending. The good ending.
That's the bad ending.
The,
so the
just
good ending
is that the cheater loses. Satan goes back to hell, and Grinch becomes a better person
and becomes the new Santa Claus.
Yes.
Okay. So I want everyone to weigh in, and we'll see which one. But as officially right now. Officially, the Grinch wins.
We got one more episode to decide, and it's up to you guys.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We do have one more episode before the end of December. Chime in with your thoughts and let us know, should it have been Santa who in Will's point of view, he cheated, he stacked the deck, or was it the Grinch who won or who wins and, becomes the new Santa Claus?
Ho, ho, ho! Christmas Fight Night!
Noel from hell.
I'm walking here.
And now, let's join Will and Tom with the traffic report.
And it's Will and Tom with the traffic report. Will, we actually had quite a bit of traffic. One of the first ones I wanted to mention, because I thought it was really, really fucking cool, that we had someone from Australia tweet at us. Actually, right? Cool. And it was in regards to the episode Roasted Brusbin with a Side of Grok.
Okay.
Right?
Recent episode.
Mm-hmm. And this is from Old Man Aaron, and his Twitter handle is @OldManStanger. It's either Stanger or Stanger. Stanger.
Okay.
I think it was Stanger. Anyways, he says, Brusbin, great word. I'm a big fan of smashing words together. He calls it wordsmithing.
Okay.
He says, I'm in Australia near Sydney and would love to say I have a Brusbin in Brisbane. Or Brisbane? Is that, yeah. Also, he said, also Will nailed the pronunciation of it.
Oh, of what?
Of Brisbane.
Okay.
When you were saying my word Brusbin was, you said it sounded a little close to
Brisbane.
Brisbane. Yeah.
Is that how I said it? Now I've forgotten how I pronounce it, and I don't want to say it wrong now.
It's like one of those things where you keep repeating the word and it sounds funny to you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's Brisbane.
Yeah, I want to say Brisbane, even though it is spelled Brisbane.
All I know,
think it's Brisbane.
Is I fucking nailed it.
Yeah, you did. For that one moment in history on that podcast.
And possibly again today. I'm just not sure.
But at least we have it. We have proof. It's recorded proof in that episode.
Indeed.
I like this a lot, though. He says his word, and this sounds awesome, Renrotract. RENROTRACT. But he doesn't know or have any idea what it means yet.
Oh, so he's come up with the sound, but he's not attached
comes up
to
with
meaning.
the word, but not in a
Renrotract.
Yeah, Renrotract. To me,
Renrotract or tract?
Tract.
Renrotract.
Yeah,
okay.
RENROTRACT.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I just want to say, hey, this is another open thing here. Any listeners want to make a definition for Renrotract, we'd love to hear it. But I personally feel like Renrotract has something to do with, like, you know how, like, you could take something and what do they call it when you, like, reverse engineering?
Okay,
right. Yeah. I feel like when you
reverse engineer something, you Renrotract it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Kind of, but like when you have built something new from something that you had reverse engineered, right? Instead of saying, "Oh, I made this by reverse engineering," that you just like, "I Renrotracted this train." Right.
Okay. So I'm going to use an example. Mm-hmm. We find an alien spaceship.
Yeah. Okay.
We then Renrotract the hyperdrive engine into an entirely new human space travel device that is not the same as the other one. It's just based off of the parts and the devices that we found.
Yeah. So what you would actually say was, so you used Renrotract in the place of reverse engineer. Right?
Well, no, you reverse engineered it, but because you reverse engineered it, but made something new, you Renrotracted it. Because I think in this case, you couldn't rebuild what was.
Yeah,
So you had to build something different,
new.
something new.
Yeah.
You retrotracted.
Oh, yes. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, exactly that. That's.
I'm
I don't
into
know
it.
why. When you
right.
said that word, I was like, that's what I feel like that should mean.
I like it. I mean, I'm curious to see what other people come up with, but
Now we need to find an alien ship so we could use the word. And
so
be
we could retrotract it.
Look what I retrotracted,
Sure, absolutely.
But you know what? Thanks, old man Aaron.
Thank you,
We
Aaron.
definitely love that word. We actually had a lot of traffic on YouTube, and Benway23 was just very simple. Thank you for your work.
Oh, you're
You know
welcome.
what? Little things like that, we appreciate it. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel that what we're doing here is good.
Absolutely.
Sasha Titus actually wrote in. Sasha said, okay, thought about it all through the segment, and I have my word.
Okay.
Her word is defenestress. Well, man. Defenestress. Defenestress? DEFENESDRESS. How would you...
Defenstress.
Defenestress.
Okay, what does it mean?
The act of taking window decor down, especially after holidays. I defendressed past form. Maybe
it's deaf and dressed.
Deaf and dressed. That sounds like deaf and dressing for a verb. I am deaf and dressing my home now that it's after the new year.
So it's the act of de-decorating. Deaf and dressing.
Yeah, like taking down. Yeah,
all right, okay.
Especially window decor.
I think the pronunciation, like at first I wasn't on board, but changing the pronunciation to defendress instead of defendress,
yeah,
it works better for me now.
Defen's dress sounds better.
Defendress.
We also had Eric Orzov write in. Eric says, so a word I use is glenned. GLENNED.
Okay.
I kind of feel like that is a word. I kind of feel like
it's a name.
Say, yeah.
Glenn.
Glenned.
And there's glade and there's glen.
Glade?
A glade?
What's a... Oh, a
glade is like I believe it's like a watering hole surrounded by like trees and wildlife. A glade.
Oh, like the Everglades or something.
Exactly,
oh, okay. I never thought about that.
And then a glen is also, I think, a grove of trees. So maybe that's what you're thinking.
Oh, that's probably... You're right. So this one is glenned. And definition, to perform an act of extreme violence in a sentence while playing D&D. The monster we were fighting glenned my character.
Now that's interesting. I like the idea that there's a word for extreme violence like that, but why glenned? It sounds so peaceful.
Glenned.
Like Glenn Phillips from Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it does seem a little glenned.
Man, but I like the idea. I don't know if the word matches.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe could be. And then we also had Zachariah Scouten write in, and I think this one was the part about when we were talking about the restaurant. Mm-hmm. And he writes, since Will didn't take it, I will.
Oh, the D&D restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, did you read that? Did you see that?
I'm assuming it's a D&D restaurant because that's
the
thing we thought I would, or you thought I would do that I didn't.
And that's exactly what he says. A D&D themed restaurant. And he has a name for it.
Oh.
Called the Dorminus Draconis.
Okay, that's cool.
The menu will change from day to day based off the official D&D cookbook, Heroes Feast.
Ooh.
There will also be a bar that serves drinks out of the Dungeon Meister cocktail book.
Okay, cool. Yeah, those are books that exist, by the way, in real life.
Oh,
yes,
really?
Yes,
right on. See,
yeah, Brian owns the Heroes Feast book, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Does he have the Dungeon Meister cocktail book?
I don't think so, but he will soon when I tell him about it.
The staff will be in fantasy attire based on what the menu is reflecting that day.
It's pretty cool.
And the aesthetic will be that of a D&D tavern.
Yeah, I would definitely go. Often.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Zachariah, you don't know this, but when me and Will recorded that episode, I did tell him, man, I thought you'd do a D&D episode. Remember I told you that idea where if you don't want to sit there and read everything that's on the menu, or you don't want to make a choice, you just roll a die and it'll be corresponding to numbers on the menu.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we had 2 emails. The first one here is from Logan. And Logan, it's a long email here, but I'll try to get the gist of it. He says, first of all, this is such a fun podcast. I was absolutely captivated by this last episode, specifically creating the new word. A lot of people like this one.
Right.
He majored in linguistics in college and have a list about 15 words, but he doesn't give us the whole lit 15.
Logan the linguist.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I didn't even put that together. That's a good one. But I want to say his word that I thought was really good, and that was, he says, a word for being satisfyingly bored. It's like a strange experience, but I feel like it's universal. He says this would be a word to describe the, quote, inactively relaxing with no pressing responsibilities feeling. This would be the word to describe the guiltlessly scrolling through social media feeling.
Okay, so I think we here in our undisclosed location have a slang word that I think fits this. Just chilling.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally, that's how I use it. How do you use that?
Yeah, that is.
When I
Because
say
when
I'm
just
just
chilling, that
chilling,
means I'm not actually doing anything.
I'm not doing anything. There's
productive or,
nothing
like,
pressing. I'm guiltlessly scrolling the internet or hanging out, eating Cheetos. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true.
But does he have a word for it?
So that one, he doesn't have. He just said a word for being.
But there's no official
he doesn't
word.
Have. He doesn't
there's
have
no
the
official word.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
No. What I mean is chilling is a slang word,
but that's not official.
There's no
for that.
official
Yeah.
word for it
because some people use chilling in a different way. Too,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did think that was interesting to come up with a word for that. I like the definition of something for that, other than just like how we use just chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. I'm very much not good at this game of coming up with words or names for things. It's a form of contentment, I suppose.
Yeah, because like you're just content of just being there, just existing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
interesting.
But
Good suggestion.
Yeah. If we do think of a word, we'll definitely let him know.
Yeah.
He finishes the email. Thanks so much for making this podcast. My wife and I have so much fun discussing these imaginings. It's so
cool.
nice to have interesting conversation topics given to us, seeing as we both work from home and almost never go outside to socialize. We really appreciate it. Well, we really appreciate you, Logan, and your wife listening and getting enjoyment out of this podcast.
Indeed we do.
The second one we have is from Edgar. Edgar says, "Hi, Will and Tom. Love the show. You guys are truly creative and entertaining."
Thank you, Edgar.
He says, "I have never had any problems with you guys until now."
Oh, no. What happened?
He says, "This was such an issue.
Okay.
He had to pull over just to email us." I wrote him back and I said, "Thanks for being safe about it."
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
No, I think he was kind of just joking. It was for the word, and he wanted to point out that grok is a word. Is it now? From a book called "Stranger in a Strange Land" by Robert A. Heinlein.
Oh, so it's a fictional word.
It's a fictional word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said though. Adventure Time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's from Adventure
it was
Time,
from
right?
Adventure Time too, and they use it differently.
Yeah, I don't. Well, do they use it differently? That's a good question because in the episode I'm thinking where Jake the dog uses it, he's angry at Finn because Finn. Okay, so Jake had what he calls a croak dream in which he. Spoilers for Adventure Time. In this dream, he dies, and the Cosmic Owl shows up, and Cosmic Owl dreams are prophetic in nature, and so it's a dream in which he thinks he's seen how he dies. And so he is very accepting of how he's going to die and how it's going to happen, and Finn wants nothing to do with that. He says, absolutely not, and he wants to defy it, but it goes against Jake's like religious beliefs, and they go back and forth, and eventually Jake goes, "Why can't you grok that?"
Oh, so maybe, you know what?
So how is it used in the other book?
So in the book, he says it means to learn about and understand something so completely it becomes a part of who and what you are.
And that's
so
very much how Jake acts. He goes on some sort of weird like existential rant about how he will become one with the universe and this and that. So I think Adventure Time does use it the same way.
Oh, so maybe they did know then.
Yeah. Either way, it's not a real word.
Yeah,
I wish it was.
But, you know, we
can be now.
We can hijack that word and use it for our own.
Yeah, because guess what? We can grok that.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I do want to say also here, from our Patreon, Eric James sent a message.
Oh, okay.
And he said, listening to the new episode, great as always. And he actually had a pretty good name for the restaurant that I was going to open, the one that was like Star Trek themed or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
He says, what if you named your space restaurant Stars and Saucers? And I thought, you know what?
That's pretty good. It's not very Star
Trek
Central, but it's Space Central.
That is true. And later I Googled like some Star Trek themed restaurants, and apparently there are some. I don't know if they're still open.
Right.
But there were very few that had.
I'm not surprised that there would be a few.
Yeah. And but who knows if they're still open? I haven't been to one, so in my mind they don't exist. But we appreciate everyone writing into us, and you know, again, if you ever have anything that you want to let us know or talk about, just shoot it on down to our email or leave a like and comment. And that is all we have for you tonight. We will continue to bring you up-to-date coverage as new imaginings develop. Please don't forget, you could join our Patreon at patreon.com/dude-could-you-imagine. Another way to support our podcast is by leaving an Apple Podcast review. You can subscribe to us on Instagram at dude_could-you-imagine, on Twitter at DCYimagine, and on our YouTube channel where you can leave a like and a comment. If you would like to contact us with what you are imagining, you can email us at dudecouldyoumagine@gmail.com. This has been Fritz Frivolous, and from all of us here at Dude Could You Imagine, keep on imagining.
I don't think that's the feel-good ending, Tom. I think that's the bad ending.
Why is that the bad ending?
Because Santa Claus cheated.
okay.
And then he gets away with it.
Yeah.
No, that's the bad ending. The good ending.
That's the bad ending.
The just ending is that the cheater loses. Satan goes back to hell, and Grinch becomes a better person
and becomes the new Santa Claus.
Yeah.